Good morning viewers, welcome to our channel. Today we will discuss about the topic is the differences between heat and temperature. In our previous section we will discuss about introduction part of heat and definitions of heat and temperature. So now to discuss about the differences between heat and temperature. So before to going to know the difference between heat and temperature, we have an activity in our 10th class physical science textbook, that is activity 2. See here, page number 2, having the first chapter heat lesson containing the activity 2. See here, now we will discuss this activity. First of all, to take 2 glass tumblers. How many? 2 glass tumblers. In 1 glass to fill with hot water. In 1 glass fill with hot water. Another glass fill with cold water. After that, to take a laboratory thermometer. Place into the hot water. Now, before to place the hot water, to observe and note the readings of the thermometer. That means inside of the thermometer having the mercury level, to note that mercury level reading before to place the hot water. Note it, and after placing the thermometer in hot water, what changes did you notice here? To observe here the reading of the thermometer, that means mercury level will rises or comes down, will increased or decreased. To observe this. After that, to put out this same thermometer, place into this cold water. Okay. Now place the thermometer into the cold water. Now before to place the thermometer in cold water, first of all you note down the what is the initial reading of the mercury level in thermometer. What is the initial level reading of the thermometer? So now what changes did you notice after placing the thermometer in cold water? To observe this, the mercury level is decreased or increased. Observe this. Next, already we discussed the topic thermal equilibrium. When 2 bodies comes to the contact, then heat will flows from hotter body to colder body. So here also we have taken thermometer and hot water and cold water. In first case, in first situation, when we place the thermometer in hot water, in this situation, listen carefully, thermometer is the cold body. Which body? Cold body. glass tumbler having hot water. This is the hot body. Hot water is the hotter body. Thermometer contains liquid, that is mercury, is the cold body. So according to the definition of heat, heat always flows from higher heat body to lower heat body. That means heat will flow hot body to cold body. So here when we place into the thermometer in hot water, when we place into the hot water thermometer, both will comes to the contact, then automatically they tries to attains to the thermal equilibrium stage. That's why here heat will flows. From which place to which place heat will flows? Which is hotter body here? Hot water is the hotter body. Thermometer contains the liquid, that is mercury is the cold body. So here heat will flows from hot water to mercury. It will flows from hot water to mercury in first condition. Hot water to mercury, heat will flows up to both reaches to the thermal equilibrium stage. Heat will flows here. So that's why here hot water, when heat supplies to the cold body, that is mercury, that's why it loses its heat energy. Here mercury gains heat energy. That's why the reading of the mercury level will be increased. So in first condition, reading of the mercury increased. Mercury level is increased. Remember it. This is important thing. Mercury increased. Mercury level is increased. In second situation, in the same manner, when we place to the thermometer inside of the cold water, before to place the thermometer, we already noted the initial reading of the mercury level. So the mercury level reading is high. That is, it is a hot body because it already placed into hot water. That's why it gains the heat energy. That's why it is heat body, hot body when compared to this cold water. So here cold water having less heat energy, mercury contains higher heat energy. So thermometer contains the mercury is hotter body here. Thermometer contains the mercury is the hotter body. This is hotter body. Which body? Hotter body. Cold water is the cold body. Cold body. Okay, are you understood? In first situation, water is hot body. Hot water is the hot body. Thermometer contains mercury is the cold body. Here opposite. Mercury is the hot body. Cold water is the cold body. So according to heat definition, heat will flows hot body to cold body up to they reaches to the thermal equilibrium. Once they reaches to the thermal equilibrium stage, after that heat does not flows, it will stops. Which bodies are comes to the contact? There is no flow of heat energy. That will be stops. That is the representation of thermal equilibrium situation. Okay. Here when we place the thermometer in cold water, what happens here? Heat will transfer from which to which place? Which is hotter body here? Thermometer contains mercury is the hotter body. Mercury is the, in second condition, mercury is the hot body, hotter body. Cold water is the cold body. Cold water is the cold body. So here heat will flow from mercury to cold water. Mercury to cold water heat will flow up to both are reaches to the thermal equilibrium stage. The transfer of heat will be occurs here. Here, when heat flows from mercury to cold water, what happens here? Automatically here the mercury loses their heat energy. It transfers to the cold water. Its heat energy transfers to the cold water. That's why it loses its heat energy. That's why reading of the mercury will decreases. Remember it. It loses, mercury level loses its heat energy. It gives its heat energy to the cold water. That's why it loses. So level of the mercury will be decreased. So here mercury level decreased. Remember this, mercury level is decreased. That's it. Very simple activity. Listen once more. Take 2 glass tumblers and take 1 laboratory thermometer. Place into the first big glass tumbler containing hot water. Here the mercury is the which is having thermometer, that is cold body in first case. Water is hot body. Here heat will flows from hot body, hot water, cold body, mercury. So hot water to mercury heat will transfer. That's why here mercury level is increased. What happens here? Mercury level is increased. In second case, we have taken a glass containing with cold water, place into the thermometer. Here initial thermometer reading contains the mercury level is high than the cold water. So here hot body is mercury and cold body is the cold water. So here heat flows from hotter body to colder body. Here mercury level to cold water heat will flows up to the reaches to the thermal equilibrium stage. That's why here mercury decreases its mercury level. So are you understood? Here mercury level is decreased. So this is about this activity. Here from this activity we can define the heat as follows. Heat is a form of energy that flows at a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. Heat is a form of energy. Heat is a form of that flows a body at a high temperature to higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. So we can define the heat. Heat is a form of energy that flows at a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. At thermal equilibrium stage, heat does not flow between thermometer liquid mercury and water. So this mercury level gives the temperature. So temperature is the measure of mercury level reading. Temperature is the measure of thermal equilibrium stage.